Oh my goodness. The New York Giants are bringing out all the stops to land John Harbaugh. A lot to talk about on today's show. But if you are ready for John Harbaugh to be the next head coach of the New York Football Giants, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon right now. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am Marshall Green, and on this show, I have said time and time again that the Giants need to do whatever it takes to convince John Harbaugh that he needs to be a New York Giant. And they are doing that. Reports are coming out that Eli Manning, as well as Tom Coughlin, have called John Harbaugh, spoken to Mr. John Harbaugh, and are recruiting him to be the next head coach of the New York Giants. I don't know about you, but this means something to me. In my life, when I think about the best people to ever be New York Giants, it's Eli Manning and it's Tom Coughlin. Every so often, I go back and I watch the Tom Coughlin speech when he stepped down or whatever happened for him to no longer be the head coach of the Giants. And he talked about Eli Manning and Eli thinking that it was his fault that Coughlin was no longer the coach. And Eli starts tearing up, and even I start tearing up when I watch that every single time. And now for the pillars of my fanhood when it comes to the New York Giants, for them to be reaching out and trying to make sure that what happens in the future is best for the Giants and land John Harbaugh as the next head coach, that means something to me. They are pulling out all the stops. I don't want to say they are desperate in a negative way, but they know how important that this would be. They know how bad that this football team needs John Harbaugh, but more importantly, they know how important and how bad that this organization needs Harbaugh. Because they do. Because I don't know where they're going to go if they don't land him. Ian O'Connor, who has been the person with his finger on the pulse of this storyline better than anybody else. He was the one that reported that Eli Manning had talked to John Harbaugh. I believe it was Paul Schwartz who reported that Tom Coughlin has talked to John Harbaugh, and he is now reporting Giants co-owner John Mara was among many New York Giants executives in direct contact today with John Harbaugh's camp. Despite his cancer fight, Mara has been putting in the work, engaging in all in-person interviews in New Jersey and working the phones on Harbaugh today. He wants this one badly. And John Mara knows how bad we as Giants fans want this. But more importantly, like we talked about, he knows how bad this football team and how bad this organization needs Harbaugh. I don't think there's really anything that Mara or Shane can do to kind of wipe away and erase what they have done. Really, Mara and the Giants since 2017 and Joe Shane since he's got here. But if you can land the Eagle, and if you can have Harbaugh put pen to paper to be the next coach of this once great organization, that makes you take your eyes off of all the losses and kind of focus on the forefront, which what could be a lot of wins for this football team. Ian O'Connor was the one who reported that Eli Manning was among voices who have called John Harbaugh to give a strong recommendation on Jaxson Dart and the Giants. Notice I skipped a name. Brian Daboll, former head coach of the New York Giants, also reportedly reached out to John Harbaugh to talk about how awesome it is to work with Jaxson Dart, how awesome and how much of a privilege it is to be the head coach of the New York Football Giants. I mean, if I was wearing a hat right now, I would tip it to Brian Daboll. You guys know that I love the man that Daboll is. I called for him to be fired time and time again, and I believe it, and I would say it to Brian Daboll's face. You deserve to be fired. You lost too many games. You can't go whatever it was, 20-41-1 at the time that they fired him, and keep that job. But for you to, I say it carefully, help the New York Giants, because that's kind of what he's doing. for him to pause, swallow his pride, and put his ego to the side and call John Harbaugh up and say, yo, John, this is the job that you want. I really appreciate that. At a Brian Daboll. I know we didn't win a lot of games here. That first season was magical. That win against Tennessee was euphoric. A playoff win on the road. He's brought more fun and more hype and more energy to this organization than anybody did since they last hoisted a Lombardi trophy. So for me, and I think all Giants fans out there, to Brian Daboll, I just want to say thank you. We really do appreciate that. And you know what? I'm rooting for Brian Daboll to get the head coach job for the Tennessee Titans for two reasons. One, so he can get another head coaching job, and two, they take themselves out of the John Harbaugh sweepstakes. I got a lot of respect for Brian Daboll, the man, the person. I'm hoping the best for him, and I'll be rooting for him, and I'll always have a soft spot for Dave's. Tom Pelissero reporting former Ravens coach John Harbaugh plans to meet in person later this week with multiple teams about their head coaching job. Harbaugh has spoken by phone with each of the teams that have vacancies as he narrows his options. Former interviews come next. So we are getting closer and closer and closer to a resolution of what John Harbaugh is going to do. If you want that to be a Giant and you want updates every step of the way and free Giants videos 365 days a year, hit that big red sub button right now. A lot more juicy stuff coming up around the corner, so stick around. But first, I got to tell you about our proud sponsor of today's show, and that is GLD. Look, buying men's jewelry, it can be a nightmare, especially when you're looking for things that are meaningful and going to last. Like, it was low-quality junk that we used to buy that would snap after a week, or it was insanely overpriced. And that's why I rock with GLD. And you can too, with 50% off when you use promo code CHAT. You're getting quality pieces that are built to last a lifetime without breaking the bank. And unlike other companies, GLD only uses real gold, none of that cheap stuff. What I love about them is that every stone is meticulously hand set, and every single piece is guaranteed to last for life. I also want to say thank you to GLD. They hooked me up, one, with this awesome chain, but two, with this beautiful pendant of my basketball team, the New York Knicks. If you want a Knicks pendant and chain, or maybe a Giants pendant and chain, you're in luck, because GLD has an official collab with the NFL, as well as the NBA, WNBA, MLB, NCAA, MLS, and even DC Comics. Chains and pendants that let you rep what you love. Work hard and change the game. Right now, GLD is making it easy. For a limited time, only new customers get an insane deal. Use code CHAT to get 50% off at GLD.com. That's 50% off with code CHAT at GLD.com. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that Chat Sports sent you. I wanted to go to this tweet once again from Diana Rossini that we hit in the morning show on the program. This is the third video of the day. That's why you subscribe. Hit that like button if you haven't yet. Says, I'm told the Giants, Falcons, and Titans are considered the favorites to land former Ravens head coach at this time. I also wanted to talk about this right here. Shout out to NYG Daily for posting the video where Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Baltimore Ravens, held a press conference today, and Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti spoke on John Harbaugh's future. Says he doesn't think Harbaugh is taking a job that doesn't have a quarterback. Bisciotti also mentioned one job that he told Harbaugh to take and gave a smirk. I wonder if it would be a team in the NFC. I want to go to this tweet again, this tweet for the first time, on Ian O'Connor, who says, on demand, mid-second round update of the John Harbaugh Invitational that might need updating shortly. He's got the Giants at -6 leading the pack, Falcons at -5, Titans at -4, Dolphins -3, and the Browns at -1. He says, notes, Matt Ryan is dangerous with a wedge in hand. Watch out. Miami arguing with rules officials over having no quarterback in bag. Sentimental hometown favorite Cleveland needs to rally to make the cut. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen, posted an update saying the Titans just birdied hole number 11. And now the Tennessee Titans are -5 alongside the Falcons, but the New York Giants remain in the driver's seat. We also know that the Atlanta Falcons posted this picture to their Twitter account saying that they hosted an interview with John Harbaugh, which we later found out was a phone call with Matt Ryan. And I was told it was an introductory phone call, as does Paul Schwartz, who says that the Falcons opted to frame Monday's interaction as a formal interview is interesting, considering it was an introductory phone call. This characterization did not go over well with Harbaugh's inner circle. So if it didn't go over well with Harbaugh's inner circle, and the Falcons don't have a quarterback, and former boss of John Harbaugh, current Ravens owner, Steve Bisciotti, says he's not going to work with a team that doesn't have a quarterback, why on earth would he go to the Atlanta Falcons? Are you telling me the Falcons pitching that they can go and get Malik Willis in free agency, that's going to make him want to go to the Falcons? I don't know. I don't even think that Kyler Murray could do that. Look, I bleed Giants blue. I'm biased as hell. I get it. I just don't understand how you can look at the Falcons job and the Giants job and say, you know what, I do want to go coach in Atlanta in that stadium where Chick-fil-A isn't even open on Sundays. Mike Garafolo adding yesterday, as we wait for John Harbaugh to finalize his interviews, sources say he likes what he sees in the Titans. Cam Ward, $100+ million in cap space, high picks, new stadium, GM Mike Borgonzi, who comes from the Chiefs. As we know, Harbaugh is someone that comes from the Andy Reid tree as well. Not saying he's going to Tennessee, just that for now, I expect them to be firmly in the mix. Jordan Ott of ESPN saying belief among sources is that Harbaugh desires, aside from obvious of ownership plus organizational structure, quality quarterback, draft capital, cap space, and financial. Giants and Titans, the best options based on these categories, depending on the evaluations of Jaxson Dart and Cam Ward. I understand I don't really have any legs to stand on when I say this. I think the New York Giants are a much better roster than the Tennessee Titans. I think the Giants are a lot closer to contention than the Titans are, unless he thinks that he can go to the Titans and with that $100 million in cap space, turn them around. But how many times have we seen in NFL history a team thinking a quick fix can happen in NFL free agency, and it may work for 1 year, but fast forward into year 2, it's an absolute doomsday scenario. Ask Dave Gettleman how that worked with Olivier Vernon, Patrick Omameh, and all of the signings that he made that year. A long way to go, but I do think we are closing in to the end of the John Harbaugh sweepstakes, and I still firmly believe the Giants are in the driver's seat. I do want to say once again, thank you to every single person that has subscribed to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We crossed over 100,000 subscribers yesterday, and we've released our 100,000 subscriber Giants Now Real One t-shirts with the date that it happened. You can get yours today, chatsports.com/Giants100K. When you get your shirt, put it on, send me a picture on social media, and I'll show it on a video.